Howard comes out first, and Topin follows, and Topin's kind of got tears at his eyes, and he said that it's true. So, I was really astounded to hear this kind of reaction from him. So I go in there, and it's got a table right there in the middle of the vault, and on that table, he had this file laid out on the table, and it had photographs, document, covers, and everything. He said, this is what it's all about, and he handed me one of the photographs. And I looked at it, and I had no idea what I was looking at. It was an old black and white photograph. It had an old truck in it, and you could tell they were out in the desert. And down on the ground was some sort of a creature. Looked like, well, I would call now an alien. So I said, well, what am I looking at here? Alien creature from outer space, you big dummy. And I go, no, it is not. And he goes, oh, you're looking right at one of these, and you still won't believe it? That's incredible. I looked at that photograph. I looked at another photograph that had them laid out on a skid. Looked at two other photographs, and they had a very dark black background, and one of them was a headshot, and the other photograph was an elongated shot on a type of gurney. And I looked at the documents, and there was a lot of red ink, top secret. One of the words was magic. And magic was spelt with a J. And I even made a comment to Howard. I says, look at here, they can't even spell magic right. It just looked like an old file, but the gauge of the year would have to be from the 30s or the 40s, just based on the truck. Because it's black and white, you couldn't really get a lot of tone with the kind of skin it had. They had a whitish kind of appearance. But if I had to describe it at all, it would have been like snake skin. But you could tell it had some color to it. And if I had to describe it as matches any other type of animal, it would have been like that of a white snake. They took a close-up of the alien's head from the neck on up. The sockets are very almond-shaped, and they're fatter up here, and they skinny down. And the blotting I'm trying to describe here looks sort of veiny, I guess you could say, or just bumps. And that was the best I could describe it. And you could tell that it was sort of reptilian-ish. I do recall that its neck was, in comparison to its head, really this skinny, and it had a lot of wrinkles. If it had a thumb, it was just sort of a nib-looking thing, and it did have these slanted fingertips, and you could tell it's sort of a suction cup. There is nothing on this earth that we know of that looks anything like this. It wasn't a monkey. It wasn't an animal. It's not a human being. I'm telling you straight up. It was like nothing that I had ever seen.
What emotion did you feel?
I was in shock. I was overwhelmed. It was probably a couple of months after the incident that I finally came up to Howard and I said, okay, what was all that? And tell me what you know about what we saw. And he said that he knew a truth, and it wasn't going to go anywhere. And he didn't like that. And he told me about Roswell. He said that he did see Roswell in those documents, and that flying saucers did crash in New Mexico in the 40s, and that the government, or the military, whatever you want to call it, recovered the bodies, and we've been hiding them ever since. And I haven't seen him in over 30 years now.
Were you asked to sign any kind of a non-disclosure?
No, never. I think the public should be given the truth. For years, I've understood the need for secrecy, but I can't accept it. Enough is enough, and that's all there is to it.
I'm sitting here looking at a light in the sky right now. It may just be an airplane. I'm not really sure yet. Yeah, I think that's all it is. Goddamn people shooting, I swear.
So I wanted to introduce you to my friend Matt. Matt, this is Rob. Hey, Rob. Rob, this is Matt. Matt's a pilot, and I figured we could pick his brain about a couple of things and, you know, maybe add another dimension to all this.
Hey, Rob. How's it going, man?
What's going on, brother? Good, all right, Matt?
What's going on? How you doing?
I bet you've seen a lot of fucking places.
A lot of hotel rooms. The airlines aren't that much fun for a guy with a family, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Living in a suitcase, seeing my kid, maybe a day and a half a week, and then flying 2 legs up St. Louis just to get to work. It wasn't conducive to my lifestyle. So now we own a flight school, and we teach people how to fly.
So what are you seeing up in the air? Anything?
Man, I've seen St. Elmo's fire, which is really pretty cool, actually, if you've ever heard of it or seen it. Kind of unnerving at first when you first see it, if you hadn't read about it even in the books or anything. But yeah, it's just static buildup. I've seen water spouts, flying approaches, and coming down and landed pretty expeditiously. Yeah, I've seen some weird stuff, man. I've been on the radio whenever... And honestly, I think this was a language barrier deal, but somebody who English was their second language obviously keyed up on the radio and kept saying, I see an object and it's unidentifiable, saying that over and over and over. And that is a trigger word or trigger phrase for the FAA and NTSB to require that pilot and the crew to fill out many, many pages of rules. And if it's recognized in the Aviation Bible, the Federal Aviation Regulations, the government has to know that it's true. It's out there. It's just whenever you see it, get ready for a stack of paperwork. They want to know their info. They'll take it whether you like it or not. There's definitely a lot that we don't know that goes on, but there's not a lot that the government doesn't know about. I mean, anything in the airspace above CONUS is immediately identified, and scramble jets are sent after them and everything. So they're not ignorant. They know where things are and when they come through the atmosphere and when they approach the airspace up to the stratosphere and above. No hiding from it. Extraterrestrial aviation course is coming soon.
So, what about conventional aircraft sightings that have been mistaken as UFOs? Are you familiar with any of those events? Or experimental flying aircraft? And Matt, are you familiar with any of the teams that might go and retrieve some of those?
I have trained with B-52 pilots that were getting their military conversion to an FAA certificate so they continue to fly, try to get, civilian jobs. And one of the times it was a B-2, not a B-52, B-2 pilot. One of the aircraft, because it's fly-by-wire, it's pretty much, when you fly the airplane, it's like asking the computer, hey, can I turn left? Can I bank right? Can I pitch up? And then the computer decides, based on an algorithm, whether you can do that or not. It's completely automated by wires and hydraulics, computer chips, all that good stuff. And basically one of them disagreed with the input and drove the aircraft into the ground on takeoff. And only the pilots of those aircraft could deal with the debris and destruction because it was so classified.
What?
Only the pilots could clean up the blood and guts. They covered the whole area in sheets and tarps, and they sent us in there, and it's one of the worst things they've ever done. Like, they wouldn't even send a crew because it was so classified,
So did military get involved, or did they just threat?
The pilots were supposed to do the cleanup and pickup of sensitive information like manuals and antennas that had come off the aircraft. And then I'm sure, the bodies and stuff were taken out by, other professionals. But I thought it was very interesting that only the crew was able to be on site for the cleanup of the actual aircraft.
Any other kind of things that you've seen that obviously that don't break your security clearance?
Man, lots of weird stuff happens on airplanes. Let me get back to you on that one. Let me think of something good.
Hypersonic velocity without signature.
That's impressive. Like radar signature?
No sonic boom, no vapor trail, no radar signature typically involved with these things.
I'm not really sure how that would work, because as you accelerate, even at higher altitudes, so the speed of sound changes, right?
Right.
Yeah, with temperature.
What?
Yes. If they're going faster than the speed of sound, there's going to be a resulting sonic boom in conventional air.
Unless they can change the ambient temperature of the craft around them.
Exactly. So in commercial aircraft, they have tons and tons of sensors. So they have what's called total air temperature and outside air temperature, and several other like turbine inlet temperature and stuff that is unrelated, but OAT, or outside air temperature, measures the temperature of the ambient air around the aircraft as it's flying. So you get like a standard lapse rate of -2 degrees Celsius per 1,000 foot of altitude that you gain. That's the standard lapse rate for the atmosphere. But